Hello, everyone. My name is Joe DiMarini. I'm joined today by prospect expert Maddie Campbell and producer Kyle. Welcome to Broad Street Hockey. Today, we're going to talk about the start of Broad Street Hockey's 25 under 25 ranking. But before we get into all that, smash that subscribe button, give us a like, ring that notification bell, and as always, head over to BroadStreetHockey.com for more in-depth coverage, opinions, and all things Flyers. Maddie, thank you for being here today. Are you ready to talk some prospects?
I always so excited to be here.
Amazing. Amazing. Can you give us a bit of a rundown what the 25 under 25 is, just for anyone who's new to our website?
Yeah, so this is our annual lengthier summer series that we do. We have every sort of Flyers property under the age of 25 as of September 15th is our cutoff. We will toss it to a handful of our contributors over at Broad Street Hockey. This year we had 10 of them, which is very exciting. We all compile our own individual top 25 player rankings, and then that gets consolidated into the master ranking, which is what we'll begin breaking down next week. We're going to start with 25 on Monday over on BroadStreetHockey.com. But in the meantime, we're here to talk some honorable mentions because we simply can't get enough.
Yeah, I mean, the Flyers had such a big draft this year that there are so many under 25 players on the Flyers in the Flyers organization right now. So, of course, some of our favorites had to miss the list, and we'll get to one of yours later. But before we get into the prospects, Maddie, how do you approach your individual rankings? Is it upside, projectability, their current performance, like what leagues they're playing in? Like what's your thought process?
It is somewhat vibes based. I wish I had
Mm-hmm.
something really official, like a point system or something, but I don't. I will say, like, if you've played meaningful NHL games, I'm making the meaningful distinction because that's going to be important in a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, you get a bump in my ranking if you've done that. But beyond that, it's somewhat sort of where they stand currently. Some of it's upside based. My process is like, I know my ranking when I see it. I don't know. What about you?
There is some vibes element to it, and one of the honorable mentions is a guy I've got the good vibes for. But like you, if there's like NHL or professional success, I do give that some more weight over juniors. And in the top 10, like I'm just looking at upside, but after the top 10, I think about projectable roles. Like if you're not going to be a top of the lineup, top 4, top 6 player, where do you fit on this team, and do you have a clear path to getting there? So someone like Shane Van Sage, maybe he isn't anything more than a bottom sixer, but dang if he wouldn't be one of the best bottom sixers on the team. And then one category that I introduced last year is the they better be right category. So a player like Jet Luchenko or Jack Nesbitt, who maybe were a bit of a reach to the fandom, that's fine, but you better be right about it, because those are some top picks that you need to nail.
Yeah, that's pretty major as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, shall we move into our first prospect, our first honorable mention?
Let's do it.
All right, our first prospect is Karsen Dorwart, the unsigned free agent that the Flyers were able to sign late last season once he finished his career in the NCAA. The highest ranking was from Jason Polinsky, JPO, over at Broad Street Hockey. He ranked him 22, but you and I both did not rank him.
Yeah. For me, it's like the sort of, if I had continued my ranking down to like 30, like 30 to 20 or so is just so much mushy middle. So it was a little tough leaving him off because he has played some NHL games, but that's like the meaningful distinction. Like, you know, if it's end of season kind of garbage time, you don't necessarily get the same bump for me. I'm intrigued by him, I would say, but just like I haven't seen enough of him at this point to like feel really good about getting him on the ranking ahead of some guys who I've seen a lot of.
I'm the same way. He's also a little bit older than some of the other prospects, so is maybe closer to being he is what he is rather than having a
Yeah,
developmental runway. And that's part of the reason that I left him off is, maybe he is going to just be a really good first line AHL guy, fourth line center, but you can never have enough center depth. But JPO, his reasoning behind ranking Dorwart is that he just kind of threw it a dartboard after 10, which respect. I mean, who among us, right? Who among us? And
yeah,
with Dorwart, he favored an NCAA guy who put up points. So I can respect that approach.
absolutely. I mean, he did have a very successful college career, so can't
He
hate on
did.
that.
No. What
Yeah.
school did he go to again?
Michigan State.
Michigan? Yeah. Cool. Love it.
So yeah, so he overlapped with Van Sage in his first year.
Nice. And Porter Martone's going to be there this season, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
It's an exciting time to be a Michigan State fan, I think.
I know. We love Michigan at this blog, don't we? Cool. Moving on from Dorwart, we have one of the Flyers' new prospects, their last second-round pick of the 2025 draft, Matthew Gard, who they technically traded up to get in a way, right? They traded back
Yeah.
to with the Seattle Kraken and then swapped their third rounder up into the second round. So, Matthew Gard, a center. His highest ranking was 21 from Ryan Gilbert, my co-host over on the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. But Maddie, again, you and I did not rank him. Are we just in sync here, I guess?
I guess so. I don't know about you, but the thing for me is like, I think we're going to talk a lot about the sort of shiny new toy syndrome as we work through this ranking. And I think Gard has a little bit of that going for him, but I thought he just had a pretty good development camp. He wasn't quite as noticeable for me as some of the other shiny new toys. And then he wasn't at the summer showcase. So like he's kind of faded into the background a little bit. So when there are just so many guys in the mix for spots on the top 25, like somebody's going to fall off. And I think he's got a lot of potential to move up as we go on here. But like, yeah, the new guys are tough for me.
Yeah, it's like we said, the Flyers have such an influx of young players that, some guys are just going to have to, they're going to fall off the list for some people. They're going to have to work their way back on it. Good problem to have, honestly, for the Flyers in a rebuild.
Absolutely.
This is about as good a situation as you can ask for. But Ryan Gilbert, his reasoning was that he wanted to use the back end of the ballot for the more recent draft picks. And he said he simply ranked the second round picks in the order that the Flyers drafted him. So Gard was the last of the second round picks. So that's how he ended up at 21, which would mean that Van Sage, Amico, and my guy, Jack Murtagh, are probably a little higher for Gilbert. But according to, I'm a bit of a Jack Murtagh guy, but that's a spoiler for next week, which for all our listeners out there, we will be doing these videos each week to recap the 25 under 25. But for elite prospects, Gilbert quoted, "There are no sure things in scouting, but Matthew Gard is about as close as one gets outside the upper echelon of the draft class. With defensive impact, motor, and size, he's a straightforward projection to fill a role in the NHL, and there's upside waiting to be unlocked." So I can understand that reasoning when I say, a clear-cut projection, I see the weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Any closing thoughts on Gard, or should we go on to our next guy?
I think that's good.
Okay. All right. Here's probably my biggest year-over-year faller, Alex Ciernik, who, again, you and I did not rank this summer, but last year I looked it up, Ciernik was number 13 on my 25 under 25.
Oh,
wow. Sorry, no, number 12. Not on my list this year.
Very interesting. So what went into that for you? Like, why the drop off?
I had high hopes for him to perform this season because his previous season he'd been injured, right? He'd had to deal with a lot of issues off the ice.
Yeah,
and I was just
several concussions.
And I was just like, I think he can do something this season. I think he's got something cooking. And then he just didn't. And then we talk about shiny new toy, and just kind of other guys passed him on the list, and that's why he fell off.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Overall, I think he still had like a pretty good season. I think he managed to stay healthy for most of it, which was like the number
Huge.
one box I needed him to tick. So we love that. I really like Ciernik as a prospect. I think this is another like victim of there just being so many guys as of why
Exactly.
he fell off of my list. But again, another guy with a lot of potential to move up um, in our next installment of the list because he's going to move up to Liga next year. He's going to be playing
Okay.
for Sami Kapanen over there, which is very exciting.
Nice.
And I think that's going to be like a good jump for him. You know, maybe not quite as substantial as moving up from the Allsvenskan to the SHL. So
Mhm.
I'm cautiously optimistic about what we'll see from him for sure.
Yeah, I like him as a prospect too. But it's just like there's only 25 spots. But
Yeah.
one of our voters, JPO again, ranked Ciernik at 15. And he said he liked his offensive output as a 20-year-old, even if it was at a lower level than the SHL. Okay, I can respect that.
Absolutely.
Um, but he had a brief AHL stint at the end of this season, did he? Or I think that's someone
Yeah,
else.
he got in for like 2 games at the end of
Okay.
the regular season with the Phantoms. He played on the 4th line. He was fine, but like he didn't get a lot of minutes, so like I don't have a really meaningful takeaway on that time, unfortunately, because I was really
Yeah.
excited to see him. But so it goes.
Tail end of the LePerrier era. The LePerrier era? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know if I like that one.
Oh
Danny
no.
Briere is good enough. Danny Briere is
Anyway,
enough. Anyway, the next guy on
yeah.
our list, my guy.
Moving on.
Moving on. Heikki Ruohonen, who Maddie, you did not rank, but I had all the way up at 16, which was the highest of anyone who submitted a ballot.
That's
We
really
talked about
interesting.
I know. We talked about vibes earlier on. This is a vibes vote. This is a vibes vote. I just want him to make it so that we can call him the Ruiner. I feel like that'd be just a baller nickname for a guy. But
Yeah, there's the nickname index in these rankings as well.
oh, absolutely. But I read his elite prospects profile. He's a somewhat defensive center. He's got good skating. He's got some power forward qualities, and I think in one of their recent game observations, they were like, the hands cannot keep up with the feet. And I hear that, and I immediately just think, oh, he's Ryan Poehling. Because how many times have we seen Ryan Poehling blowing down the ice, skating like the wind, gets the puck, and just can't do anything with it because he's
Yeah.
going too fast.
Yeah. Hopefully
So
that changes in time though. But yeah, he's one for me. I just like kind of don't really know what to do with. He was probably the last cut from my list. It was hard to leave him off because like I definitely am intrigued by him, but like
mhm.
he had a pretty good season in a USHL that is just like not really as competitive as it has been in the past. So like that kind of is what it is. But he's been really good in his time with the Finnish national team. I loved his summer showcase a couple weeks back. So like, yeah, it's still a bit of a question mark for me. Like, I'm very excited to see what he does in college next year when he gets some
Mhm.
better teammates to work with.
Harvard.
And
Harvard, right?
yeah, yep.
Love that. Is he going to
So
be the captain of the Finnish team? Is that like done and dusted, or is he just in the mix for it? Or
um, I would say he's in the mix for it. They're not going to have that locked down until they have the actual full roster, but
roster?
very good chance, I would say. Yeah.
And he might be like their best center on the team at this point too, right? Like the Finnish prospect pool has not been as great lately.
Yeah, I mean, they had him playing as their 1C at the summer showcase, so definitely a look they were experimenting with. So big
Cool.
things ahead for him, I think.
Big things for the Ruiner. All right, now we get to our fifth and final candidate for today, a guy who I still have a soft spot for, but again, could not find the space to rank. But Maddie had it 22. It's Alexis Gendron who's been with the Phantoms for a couple years now.
Yeah, I'm actually, like, looking back on it, a little bit surprised that I don't have him even higher on my list because
Really?
I'm just such a fan of his game. I mean, he scored 20 goals as a rookie, technically still a rookie, with the Phantoms last year. First guy to do it in, like, 3 seasons, and I think only the third to do it since they relocated to Allentown, like,
Okay.
10 or so years ago. So, a sneaky, very good rookie season. I love his game. He's so fast. He's so crafty with the puck, and there is just no fear in his game. Maybe there needs to be like a little bit more fear because he ended his season with getting hurt because he was just driving straight to the net. He was going to go right through it if he didn't get
Oh
a
man.
scoring chance. So, a bit of a give
Yeah.
and take there, but I think projectability is still the big question mark with him. Like, is he going to be kind of a top 9 or bust type of player? And like, how
Yeah.
does that fit into the mix with a pretty loaded pipeline of wingers on the whole? So, I don't know how that shakes out, but I know that I love his skill set, and he's getting himself legitimately into the conversation for a future NHL role, and that's huge for a former 7th round pick.
Yeah, and he's like a son of a Flyers scout or something, right? Like they traded
Yeah,
to get that. Yeah. Um, of course, the Flyers draft a guy they know, but hey, he's a cool pick.
yeah,
No,
love it.
what you said about projectability is my big hangup. He's a small goal scoring winger, and I look at the pipeline. Well, Brink's here already. Barkey's on the way. Um, Ciernik is also a smaller winger. Tuamala's a smaller, like they just have Michkov himself, a smaller winger. Like there's only so many guys who are going to be able to fulfill that role on the Flyers in the future, and I'm just not sure where Gendron stands. But we did have 2 people who ranked him higher than you did.
Shocking.
J JPO again and Thomas both ranked him at 17. JPO said he likes Gendron because he put up goals in that wreck of a system, the LaPerriere era, I suppose. And then Thomas said he wanted to go with a balanced approach, and he tried to weigh heavier is the ability to score in the AHL compared to juniors. Um, like like you mentioned, he scored 20 goals in his first ever pro season with the Phantoms, which isn't easy to do. Only 8 assists, but still big believer in what he's able to do and could potentially be a middle 6 scoring winger in the NHL after cooking for a bit longer in Lehigh. And I can still see that path for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as they get a little bit more speed down the middle this coming season, their centers were just so slow last year. So that really held him back and some of their other speedy wingers. And as the Phantoms are going to prioritize playing a more up tempo transition style, I think that's going to benefit his game a lot. So I think he could take another big step forward this year.
For sure. And they're going to be one of the youngest teams, right? Like they have so much
Yeah,
youth coming in.
it's crazy.
Oh, exciting times. I love it. Um,
It's
any
going to be so
closing
fun.
thoughts on the guys we talked about? Any guys that you voted for that didn't even make the honorable mentions that you think are worth a quick shout out?
Yeah, like we've sort of touched on it already. It's just the absolute wealth of talent that the Flyers have in their prospect
Mm-hmm.
pool at the moment. I think we're going to be getting into this a little bit maybe over the weekend, the next couple of days. But looking back at where they were at several years ago with this ranking and the state of the prospect pool, it was a little bit of a doozy.
Bleak. Yeah.
Yeah, how far we've come. So love that.
A new era of orange indeed.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
cool. Cool. So thank you so much for joining me today, Maddie. For all of our listeners out there, we will be back again next Friday where we discuss our rankings 21 to 25. And we'll be doing that every Friday until we get to the top 5, I believe, where each candidate will get their own little video. If you get the top
That's
5,
the
that's kind
plan.
of that's the privilege that you get, right? You get your own dedicated video. Um,
There you go.
just a reminder, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, ring the notification bell, and please read more of us over at BroadStreetHockey.com. Thanks for joining.